We are live. Hi, welcome to the hottest show in the galaxy, the after show. It's the Karen Hunter show. We just got off of 3 whole hours. I'm sitting here with Seena Ghaznavi, the founder, creator of Fraudsters, which is an amazing podcast uncovering frauds everywhere. And I said, Seena, you want to pop over? Because we had an amazing conversation today about Jalen Hurts. We've just been talking about Phil Jackson before we went. Jada Pinkett Smith, which we didn't talk a lot about. We spent a lot of time with Charles Barkley and Gail, way too much time on that. But we're here, and it came up during the conversation that not a lot of us get these opportunities to have these amazing contracts on TV or radio for that matter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
and for those of you, hi YouTube. For those of you who come into the comments like, oh, this podcast is not a podcast, it's a radio show. That is live, 3 hours, Monday through Friday on SiriusXM. That's where you find it. So the clips that you watch, just little clips, little snippets, and little morsels of goodness. But there's a whole experience that we've been doing for 8+ years on SiriusXM. So get the app, the SiriusXM app, and join us. I know they got, you can make some deals and stuff. But yes.
When did I start doing your show? I feel like I was early. You started the show in when? 2015?
2014. It was the summer of 2014. I remember it like it was yesterday because it took them a whole year to tell me I could do a 30-day trial. So August of 2014, that week, Mike Brown was murdered. So they brought me in to do a radio show on entrepreneurship because for those of you who don't know, I run a successful publishing house. And several other businesses. So they were like, you could do something on entrepreneurship. And I was like, probably not. But yes, I'll say anything to get it back on the radio because 20 years ago, I was on WWRL, which was an AM station, and I was killing it. I did a morning show for 3 years there, murdering it. And so for 10 years, I feel like I was whitelisted because nobody wanted to have me on. But that's okay. Every place I go, they be like, because I'm a speak Ebonics when I feel like it. They, at some point they feel like I'm uncontrollable, and so they canceled my contract. I was on MSNBC as a paid contributor, and they sat me down because I said something about Mitt Romney, which I thought was appropriate, but apparently, people made phone calls like so. I was on CNN for a minute. Some of you may remember.
You should have doubled down. They would have given you your show there.
No, I did 2 pilots and they lost. How do you lose a pilot? I did a pilot. I did a pilot for my own show. I did 2 of them. They said that they lost it.
No, not possible.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
not
like,
possible.
But I know it was so good because after it, the camera people came up and they were like, that's the best show that show, like people were coming up to me after, and I booked it. I did my own teleprompter writing because I couldn't read people's stuff. I had to wrote my own script, and it was amazing. This was before everybody, by the way. And then, hey y'all, hey Nubians, I see y'all, Wanda and Derry and Stacy and Kimberly and Ebonique and Letty. What's going on, Jacqueline? They all are here, and y'all can come in and ask questions because this is exclusive to Nubia in terms of popping in and talking to us. But yeah, I had all of the contracts, but then I realized I don't play the game well. But Seena, I feel like you know the game, so maybe we can have an exchange as we.
Well. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, so there's a funny story about that. So first of all, I just realized because my former manager who fired me eventually was 2015. I got introduced to you. So I've been doing the show since.
Your manager fired you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. It was great. It was perfect. She wanted to make me into some sort of like weird media, like wear a leather jacket and be something I really wasn't. And that like made me very uncomfortable. And then I got put in a room with people that we both know for an audition. And they said, argue about this thing. And I was like, absolutely no problem. I have an opinion. I have a point of view. I'm happy to argue about this thing. And then they were like, okay, now argue it the other way. And I was like, but I don't believe the other way. And they're like, yeah, but just argue it the other way. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not what this is for me. And so talk about not knowing how to play the game.
I mean, let's be honest. I think we both know the game.
Yeah.
But I think we're both wired in such a way that
can't do it.
You know, in my mind, let me just say, I feel like because I'm going to give everything to a thing and I'm going to at the same time make you money,
Yeah.
that should be good enough, right? Aren't we in business to do that? But I learned, MSNBC taught me, is not about the ratings, because they would tell me behind it, every time you're on, the ratings spike. So you made a conscious decision to not make money, because ratings mean money, because the commentary didn't line up with something corporately that you were trying to push onto the people. And that's when I knew for the first time, oh, this business is not about business. It reminds me of the bus boycott in Birmingham. Is it no? What the hell? The Montgomery bus boycott, where the bus company went bankrupt.
Yep.
For a year, Black people wouldn't ride the bus. They went bankrupt to not capitulate to people being treated with dignity. So I realized then, I was like, but I didn't expect MSNBC to be in cahoots with the same ideology. So when people talk about all of these fires, I'm like, they're on the same page, y'all. This is not about your enlightenment and your information, which is why I always side eye these moves that they make, because it's like some bull crap.
Yeah, I could just never, in my heart, my chest would get tight. And I'm a lawyer. I am trained to definitely be able to argue either side of an issue. I could tell you all the points that I would, but my whole problem was that people that I would see, friends of mine, or even they would say things on TV that I know they didn't mean. And it made me sick. And I can't, like we've talked about on the show today, there's a sense of responsibility that I have that's like very profound, which is not profound in our sense, but profound comparatively to the media landscape today, of just, I can't play your game in the way you want me to play it. So I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. So now I'm in this seat, which is not mine either, right?
Yep.
This seat, and even this seat, this is Google's seat. And Google be playing games. Y'all be playing games, Google, with the algorithms and all of that. So even these spaces we don't control. And it's funny, you know, a lot of your influencers who only make their money from YouTube are having to do strange things to make more money.
Yes.
Right. So I'm seeing people go live a lot. I'm not doing this for money, by the way. So let me just say, I don't make my money on YouTube, and I'll take everything off of YouTube. That's how strongly I feel about it. But the reality is, even that is driving certain conversations, because, you know, it's the algorithms. Now everyone's a slave to the algorithm. So you have to do content that drives more engagement so you can make more money.
No, we should be talking, if you really want the numbers, we could talk about how European Americans deserve rights to their people, right? They deserve to be seen.
Seena, oh, by the way, Seena's also a comedian.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not European. Right. I'm Iranian. I got to say all this shit now, too.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, people can't tell, you know.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I don't mind.
What is
you know, I was in Vegas for NAB, and I was at the 3-card poker table, and I'm talking
about all the money you won. How much did you actually win?
I won $5. I was down $1,500, and then I hit this 3-card poker table, and no joke, I'm not lying at all. Within 35 minutes, I was plus 2,000.
Okay,
it was incredible.
That's not bad. That's all right.
But the night before, when I was losing all this money, someone was like, "You're not Persian." And you know what I did?
You showed him your back hair?
I showed him the chest hair. At the table, Karen, at the casino.
Right, let's see what that looks like.
Oh
my God, it is nappy too. You taco meat. Yo, okay. He did that for the algorithms. Everyone's like, no, put your shirt down. So you definitely got some Black African something.
It's in there.
My daddy.
Yeah.
So my father actually was pretty hairless. No, actually, except for he had a big mustache. That said, so I brought you over here because we were having this conversation I wanted to bring over. Does anybody and I'm sorry, Nubians, there's only room for a certain number of people in here. So I know folk will try to get in. Y'all, whoever's here, ask your question to get out if you have a question. If you're not here to ask a question, jump into YouTube, because then I want people in here who have questions or comments.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So jump out so people who actually want to engage with us can come in to this back end. Everyone else can see us on YouTube. I
traumatized everybody. This is good. This happens a lot. All the comments are like, "Oh my God, please."
It's cute though. Listen, he's on his second baby, so somebody likes it. All
Yeah,
right.
this is my corner of the market.
I ain't got to like it. Somebody likes it. So I brought you over because you wanted to pitch a show. And for what it's worth, and this is how I'm looking at the world, I can now produce content anywhere. This is democratized media. The problem is media is now democratized. Anybody can have a platform. So we know Fucker Carlson's going to have a platform that he's probably going to make more money than he made before. I don't think Don Lemon will make more money than he made before. Y'all, come on.
I think you're absolutely right. You're so right.
Yeah. But
if he has to write his own script, I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
You are right. That said, and I could be shady because of my page until it's not. But what I realize is that in this democratized system, excellence doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be successful at this. Sure. So I'm not struggling. I put my energies into building other people's platforms and giving other people spaces and lanes. That's where the majority of my energy, but that's been my career, right? So if I talk about the 30 books, most of them have been on actually writing for other people. You know, some of the books that y'all have read that I've participated in writing, my name may be on it somewhere, you know, maybe just on the cover page or, you know, the title page, but you know, it's about the person on the cover, you know? And so that's kind of been my story arc and career, even as a journalist. It's like telling stories, other people's stories. So I'm very comfortable in this space. At the same time, though, I think there's a need to have somebody really assess where we are in terms of media, because we're coming up on an election cycle and there's a lot of noise and a lot of people that don't know what the hell they're talking about out here running their mouths. And some of y'all are tuning in because you don't know the difference. You're especially on this YouTube space, which is why I will block the out of you. You come to this space with some nonsense, and some of y'all, you deleted my comments. No, I deleted you. You know, you got blocked because you don't know how to engage with like a person that was raised by human beings. So, and I can do that because I'm not a slave to the algorithms, you know. And I learned this lesson a long time ago. Stephen A. told me, you gotta let the people fight, baby girl. You gotta let them fight because that's how you get your numbers up. And I was like, I know he's right, but do I want numbers? Or do I want to actually, you know, feel good about the, you know, the engagement? Do I want people who are going to have conversations about the things that matter and have it from a pure place, not just having folk in here argue and fight with me? I don't want to fight. I ain't got time for that. So I made a decision. I'm blocking. You got one time to call me out my name. You're gone.
Yep.
Twitter, same thing. You will be blocked. I'll go back and forth with you 1 or 2 times as a cautionary tale for everybody else. But I'm too busy building. I ain't got time to be fighting with you. So if you are just here to fight, go. Otherwise, we're here to build. So tell me about your show.
Well, thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Tramel in the YouTube comments. She likes my haircut. So I appreciate that. And I've seen a couple hearts about my chest hair. So I appreciate all the people that are haters. Okay, I see you. And I'm putting you down on my list.
You want me to block them? Where are they?
It's okay. It's all right. They didn't ask to see that when they came over here.
That's true. It's not a request.
It is. I just did that. I did that for, you know. Well, it's funny. So I've pitched this show before. Obviously, it was not successful. But it's this show still feels true to who I am and what I want to be doing in general. And the thing that I think I'm very good at is being able to talk to anyone about anything and finding, and this is my way of arguing, finding things we agree on. And it's my favorite way to argue because it takes the hate and the anger and the fury out of people's arguments when you find these very strange commonalities. So the show is People Agreeing. I don't remember what the title is, but
that's a good working title. Because even that tells it what it is. People agreeing. Okay.
Let's use, you set the stage with a conflict of some kind. Let's just take Israel and Palestine, right? And I would individually do you'd have like a little bit of a field package put together that sets it up from one side and then the other. And then I would do an individual interview with one person, finding out what it is, right? And I would get what it is they're going after, right? And what it is that's happening. And then I would interview the other side, let's say the Palestinian side, right? And I get it is what they're going
Why
after.
don't you start with Israel?
Yeah. We would start.
Why didn't you start with Palestine?
Well, that's a great point. I would start. That's a great point. You can see I'm programmed. I've got problems. I've got things that I have to work through. And then we would come together. And the point would be not for them to argue. Of course, there would be arguing, but I would have a directed conversation where part of it was we're going to try to find agreement. Now, Israel and Palestine, they're not going to have much to agree on, but maybe both of these people hate Kim Kardashian. We can agree on that. And when we start at this base level, this is an agreement. You can't be angry at me if we both agree on this one thing. And I believe the agreement of something even as remote as disliking Kim Kardashian, or maybe we both like falafel, or maybe we both like matzo ball soup, or something. These are the little things that we can show that find us to be in common ground. And then all of a sudden, the stark binary differences that we have suddenly becomes a spectrum of gray. And we can find ways to agree. So that's the show. And let me tell you, you want me to tell you what the response was?
Wait, hold on. Kimberly has a better one. Can we agree? I like that.
Can we agree? Yes, there we go. Thank you.
I like that. I like that title. What was the response?
Seena, no one wants to see people agree on television.
Well, they're correct, aren't they?
They are 100% correct.
So, as a person who programs, the concern I would have is you running out of material.
No. Are there a finite number of conflicts in the world?
Are there? I mean, but and it's manufactured, right? So the thing that lets me off the hook with doing 3 hours a day, because people are like, how do you do 3 hours a day? How do you do 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
I don't do a radio show. Even though I fight with people when they call it a podcast. I don't do a podcast either. I'm literally having conversations with people that when I met you, I didn't know what your political leanings were. I didn't know anything about you, but I wanted to know about you. So I think you came in as a comedian on my show.
I did.
I recall. And then we were having a conversation about a witch, somebody riding a witch.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
And Cousin Sil was on, and she called your wife Lucy Lou, which was completely inappropriate.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and I was like, why is this happening? But you came in as a comedian, so I didn't know anything about you, and then I'm learning more each time you come on, and so I feel like the relationship that you want to foment can only happen over time. And when you have these binary things that people disagree, it's still about the relationship, right?
Yes.
How do we even get to the point that we both like falafel, we both like or hate or dislike the Kardashians, unless we're having a constant conversation? So you keep coming on the show talking about issues, and then we're getting more and more into your life, more and more into who you are. And it's like, I like you.
Yeah.
And so let's talk. Let's talk more about different things. That can only happen in a relationship that I don't know how you foment that on a TV show or a radio talk show.
It's difficult. I think on a TV show, it's very structured. You'd have to overshoot the individual interviews to be long, right? And then you'd cut it down for the show itself so that the feeling is there. Because I think the one thing I'm able to do, and people that I've interviewed have told me this, is that I'm disarming and I'm welcoming, right? And it's a thing that I know that's part of me. And people open up to me. And when I was younger, it was problematic because white people in Pittsburgh would be super racist around me. And I'd be like, you feel too comfortable around me. And I would tell my dad this, and he was like, don't say anything to them. It's like, I was like, they were very much like, don't rock the boat kind of people. And I was like, after 9/11, I was like, that was a terrible approach to this, Mom and Dad.
Well, they wanted to keep you safe. They knew
yes.
you with your ass whooped somewhere in a locker,
exactly right.
folded in half. They want you to come
right.
home safely.
Oh, I love these comments. Everyone's so supportive in here. This is very nice.
All right. Did anybody in here want? Because I see Gloria. You want to come in? Tell me if you want to come in. I'm gonna bring you in. So you put your camera on. Let me do it. Let me bring her in.
Okay.
What's going on? All
right.
Just get it. What?
Out of the CNN studio, Gloria. Let's go.
I have enjoyed the conversation today. All of the conversations. I've enjoyed them because I like sports. And I've always encouraged my children to like sports. And I have one young grandson he's really into basketball. And I'm just hoping that he will understand that he has agency, not just skills. So I am pleased.
Well, first of all, I know you're a Nubian. Where are you from? Gloria, where are you from?
Karen, I'm from Colorado through New York. I'm now in Pennsylvania, back in Pennsylvania, because I went to school here, high school and college here. So roundabout.
Okay.
East or West Pennsylvania?
I'm in Philadelphia.
Okay.
She sounds like Philly. I'm not that she sounds, because I hear New York in her voice.
Yeah.
But I was getting Philly
back and forth in New York for quite a while, because my late husband was a bassist in New York, and that's how I got there. And then we got here. So all around the country. I want to go back to Colorado, since I'm what do you call me, octogenarian?
You better come on with the
octogenarian.
The 8 decades on this earth.
Yes.
Love it. You know, but there's so much vibrance, which is the other thing, that we have to maintain. What advice can you give us, Miss Gloria, in terms of keeping that youthful exuberance?
What you are doing is magical. And if the Creator puts you here at the right time, because the divisiveness that we see is damaging, it's treacherous, really. So to create a space where people can come together, like Narrative in Nubia, and your presence on SiriusXM, and those that you draw in there, that is a gift from the Creator.
Thank you. Ashe. Thank you, Miss Gloria. Love you. Thank you for coming in, even though I ambushed you to come on in. That was lovely. I think about you, Seena. It's on purpose. I love to talk with you because we don't come from the same background and we don't come from the same place, but we tend to get along, even if we disagree. And I know you're being polite sometimes, but when you disagree, because you're like,
I was raised right.
Yeah, well, I want to keep coming back. But when you think about, and to me, it's a little insulting when folk think about Urban View as a Black space, because 30% of our listeners are not Black, right? And the larger space doesn't even understand that this is duplicatable in terms of inviting people in. But I also hear people say, "Oh, you only talk about Black stuff. You're divisive." Like I'm divisive, and I take exception to that too. What do you see? Because I like your concept, and I like the title. Can we agree? But I think the execution of it has to flow through you telling your own story of growing up in Pittsburgh. Through your own story. I think that has. I like that. And then you invite people in, not necessarily to show different views, because I don't think there's a swath of Jewish people that don't believe Israel should be a state.
Yes.
No one ever talks to them, to the Satmars and they never talk to them. There's also the history that Israel was going to be in Uganda because it was a nation owned and controlled by Great Britain. It was one of their properties in addition to Palestine. That was the first place they had agreed on. No one talks about that. No one talks about 90% of people in Israel don't practice the religion of Judaism. No one talks about that. So there's a lot of space to have conversations around this conflict, which is really over land and power. Conflict is all about land and power. So if we're being honest, the divisions that we have are manufactured, and they're there. I was thinking about this scene. I'm gonna throw this to you. I'm watching the show on Paramount Plus with Kiefer Sutherland called The Rabbit Hole. I think it's called Down the Rabbit Hole, or The Rabbit Hole. And he's this agent who, does all of this AI stuff and Analytica type stuff. Like, they are forcing us into these places where we fight each other. Meanwhile, there's a great heist going on.
Yeah.
politically and financially, and we're busy fighting over what? What exactly? What are we fighting about?
No, and I think what you're saying makes me kind of think maybe the idea is like it's more docu-style, where I'm exploring the issue and trying to find where the pieces are that are in the not necessarily the middle, but where the agreements can be and where things are actually, and talking to those folks that haven't been spoken to before. And I think you're right. Like, we live in an age when the conflicts are exacerbated. You know, I don't play a lot of video games anymore, but I was playing the Call of Duty game like last year or 2 years ago or whatever. And there's like a campaign mode where it's just you. You're not like playing other people. You're just playing the computer, like the story mode. And, you know, you're going in and you're like, go kill people or whatever. I get into this house and you know what? All the bad guys, Karen, are speaking Farsi. And they're like, "Yalla bokoshesh," and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta kill this guy. I understand everything he's saying. Holy shit, this is awful." And I stopped playing immediately. And it reminded me when I was a kid, my brother and I would watch Delta Force or Chuck Norris movies, and he'd be killing guys that are speaking the language we speak at home.
Right. And so then when Malcolm says, "Who taught you to hate yourself?"
Yeah.
You've been conditioned to believe people who sound like you and look like you are the terrorists and the enemies. How diabolical is that?
It's crazy. And I just never, it scared me. Now that I'm older, I'm much wiser, obviously, and I understand how this is happening. Of course, some kid is going to call me a towelhead. You know what I mean? Of course, some kid is going to call me all kinds of slurs and stuff like that I won't repeat anymore. But it's like, this is, of course, why I shouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? And so,
we shouldn't be surprised when the Clarence Thomas or the dude that I forgot. I'm not going to even mention his name. Who just a Republican who wants to be the governor of North Carolina. We shouldn't be surprised with Clarence Owens. What the hell is it? Candace Owens or even who's the Jason Whitlock. We shouldn't be surprised because there's profit in. And I believe that they've convinced themselves that the things that they're saying is actually helpful to Black people.
And we shouldn't be surprised. And by the way, shout out to our show. Someone in the comments did this already, but we have a series on Candace Owens on fraudsters.
People can see that now.
Where it's on the
Wait, hold on, Seena Ghaznavi, Seena now. Candace Owens is a fraud.
Oh yeah, I know. Shocking to the masses. I know. But we go back into her history and we show you how it's a fraud, by the way. It's not just like, here's a clip, we're going to make fun. Like, we get deep, you know? But the thing, though, that we also shouldn't be surprised, you said Clarence Thomas, my people are the next to be assimilated into whiteness. I'm already seeing it. And Marissa Baradaran, when she was on the show, she talked about this.
What's the Bravo show? The Shah of
Shahs of Sunset.
You're already
Ruining my life.
You're already there.
Do you know what people? What do you see on television? You don't see me. You see terrorism or nuclear weapons or Shahs of Sunset. What a great image for my people.
Let me tell you, I used to, when I was at MSNBC, I would be in a makeup room all the time. This predates everybody that y'all like, by the way. And there was a woman that did makeup there from Iran. And she said her father, before they came to this country, had all of her siblings read Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. Read Dick Gregory's autobiography in Farsi. Both of those books were in Farsi. And I thought about like the connection that we really do have that has been messed with by media, separating us, making us believe. The fact that people who speak Spanish, the fact that Telemundo is mostly white facing, when the majority of people who speak Spanish and Portuguese are Black, African descendants, tells you everything, because that's the power of media, right? So if you don't ever see yourself, and the only way you see yourself is as the villain in all of these languages, who the hell? I don't blame the Dominican Republican people not wanting to be Black. I understand. Trujillo did a number on y'all, but Trujillo also understood that proximity to them folk across the way there on the same island, the Haitians that are in your blood as well. If you embrace that, then somehow you're going to be treated the same way that the Haitians are treated. And I don't want that smoke. The world has shunned them. Let me be white. Let me check white on the census. Let me raise my children to not want to be Black, because that means poverty and lack and whatever, but it's a new day. As Donna Ross would say, it's a new day, y'all. Better run into blackness. Everybody check black on the census, by the way. Let's break the algorithms. Seena Ghaznavi is here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
People are just afraid, though. My brother would call himself white. It's sad because when he was growing up, he got beat up. It was during the hostage crisis. He got picked on incessantly. I came out. I loved being different. I was loud. I was confident. I got beat up, but it was because I said something, and I had it coming probably. So, that's the thing that is driving a lot of this, right? My family, my parents, when I was growing up after 9/11, I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened, student council president. I had to go in front of the entire school on the PA system and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Meanwhile, that same day, I got called a sand N-word and thrown it into the lockers. And so after that, when I was applying to college, my parents said, don't put Iranian on your application because they're going to reject it. They're going to think you're a terrorist. That's how much fear seeps in to two people that came here with virtually nothing and built themselves up and built us into an upper middle class lifestyle. I mean, it's crazy.
Let's bring in Brother James.
Oh, James.
Brother James got on his gloves.
What are you doing? I love it.
Good.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Well, I'm just coming from had to do a blood draw today. I'm going through some treatments and everything like that.
Sorry.
Getting good health. Thank you, Karen and Seena. It's good to see y'all, part of the global majority. I was wondering, I think Karen, what you bring and what you and Seena bring to an observation that I don't think a lot of people take into effect is the global majority and the human connection in your new show that there is only one race. That's the human race. We're all human beings, and we're out there trying to live our best lives as people, and hopefully go from this current physical realm that we are in our mental state and try to uplift ourselves to the spiritual beings which is our greatest manifestation. And Karen, I want to thank you and Seena as well for calling out the fraudsters, even within our own selves, within our own community. And how do you think your show would impact your new show that you're pitching would impact us reaching that higher level?
Yes, Seena. Thank you, Brother James, and wish you all complete health, bro.
Thank you for that question. I love that question. You know what it made me think of, honestly, while you were saying it, is that the thing I love about this idea is that it takes away this argument that a lot of racist people have when they're colorblind, or a lot of people that don't realize that they're racist, and they say, we're all just human. Yes, sure, we're all just human, but that doesn't mean we don't have differences. And people want to skip over the differences, which is invalidating history, which is erasing all this stuff that's happened, erasing current problems that we may have. I'm down with talking about all the problems. I'm down with engaging. I'm counterphobic. I learned this in therapy. When I'm scared of something, I go right into it, which makes me somewhat impulsive, but I'm also a risk taker. So if I see something that's a little scary, my knee-jerk reaction is to move toward it. And that is maybe also why I got beat up when I was younger. But I've
seen you actually. I know who you are as a you. If someone tells you to shut up, you're gonna get louder. If someone threatens to kick your ass, you're gonna.
Oh yeah, you've heard me. When I filled in a couple times, I popped up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all right. No, it's good. So do you bungee jump and stuff like that too, or
I've done skydiving. I don't really. I will say having a child, another one on the way, has made me of somewhat more risk averse. Like there was a guy that was doing some shady stuff in our neighborhood recently in LA, and like a helicopter ended up coming over. Other neighbors were yelling at him, and I just stood there and I said nothing. I came home. I was like, honey, you know the helicopter that's going off right now? The police sirens? She goes, yeah. I was like, I didn't say a word to that guy. And she's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I was like, I just stood there. She goes, why is there police? I was like, that's not important. I didn't engage.
Well, children will definitely.
Man, I can't. I got to be around.
And they should make you make different choices.
Also, these first few years are so awful. I need to see all the fruits of my labor when I'm older. I can't.
All of the poop and the vomit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So this show could work to people like the docu style.
Yeah,
they like that. I see. What's the United Shades of America?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know who he was before. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there are people out there with, Roy Jones Jr. should get that Comedy Central. There are folk out there that may not be household names. Roy Jones should be Roy Wood Jr.
I was gonna say,
like,
wow,
Jones
he's funny. Roy Jones,
He's
the
not. He is
boxer, is funny.
He's funny fighting like a chicken. And probably funny now because I don't know how well this is working out.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But Roy Wood Jr. should be a household name. But
Yeah.
there are people that are just really super talented that don't get the opportunity, because I think Roy's week on Comedy Central was one of the highest rated.
So good.
And it was amazing. And he even brought in my friend Jerry Kraft. Like, it was vast. It was vast. It was beautiful. But Hollywood would say on paper, well, Charles Barkley has bigger, numbers, or Chelsea Handler has more followers, instead of like, why shouldn't you? Why is Eva Longoria, and I'm not hating on her, good. I'm glad she's doing that show on Mexico on CNN, but you shouldn't do the Persian show either.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to.
Talking to people, like, they're so stupid. They put people in these small, tiny boxes, which is why that's the only way we can see folk is in these tiny ass boxes.
Also, my people are so fractured. It's like so hard to get us to do anything. I think I would probably do an episode on just trying to get my people to agree on anything. I mean, it's crazy. So,
you ready to take in somebody else?
Sure. I could probably do one more. Then I should.
Okay. All right, we got to go. Harrison, hi.
What's going on?
What's
Can
good?
y'all hear me?
Look at the green screen, Harrison.
Oh, it's not really a green screen. But I had like
okay.
I have a quick comment.
Wait, hold on. You should have a green screen because your background is janky as F. Your background is just janky.
This is great sound deadening material here.
Okay,
this is the highest grade. This is thermal. So if there's a fire, I'll be safe.
All right, Harrison, what's good?
What's up, Harrison?
All right, so I'm a generation Exer. I'm guessing what they call it. And I grew up in the age of AOL, and really before AOL, I was doing the chats basically through dial-up. University of New Orleans had free internet, and all we would do is play these stupid video games. And it's kind of like you hear the kids on Call of Duty now cursing each other out, everything bad. I was 11, 12 years old back then. So I grew up in that age, and now all I do on the internet is play the antagonist, because that's what it was for. That's what AIM was for. So when you get on Twitter and we start to try to take Twitter seriously in my age group, we're still playing the antagonist in a lot of these situations. And I'm just wondering if being a truth teller to combat, say, Tucker Carlson's truth telling, to actually be a truth teller is enough. Or do you have to be so over the top with a lot of the issues that you have to pull people and draw people in to get them to stop being an antagonist on their side and, show them what the actual truth is? But you got to be so hyperbolic with it to get people to support you these days.
So I think first, at least to your point on Twitter, I think now Twitter is not, it's going to be more like Reddit, right? Where there'll be some good articles or some good places where you could talk about technology and stuff like that. But the days of like where the New Yorker is using it as a main spigot for their news and a place for that, I think it's kind of a wrap, right? It's a place, it's a different kind of place now. Right now you're seeing people tune the internet to what they want to hear through Substack, through people like in Nubia, like Karen's creating her own platform. So niches that we've already seen are starting to win. And I don't think you necessarily need to be as hyperbolic as you used to, because the hyperbolic people were trying to appeal to everybody, right? That's what got everyone involved. And I think that's where they got everybody's eyeballs. I think you people are going to be going to the voices that they want to hear and learn from. Karen, what do you think? I saw you shaking your head.
Thank you, Harrison.
Thank you.
I think a lot of things. Being on the radio was an experiment for me. Could I be authentic, talk to people like they got some good damn sense, not run to TV because I was told I needed to be on television? I reject that. Let me see if I can just engage with an audience and see what happens. Now, I had the luxury of being in a space that nobody cared about. And I had the time, to your point, because you said that earlier, it takes time to build.
Yeah.
So I had the time to build in something that didn't cost the people who gave me this platform any money or any real money, right? So that was the big thing. So there was nothing to lose, right, for them, and everything to gain for me to see if it could work, because I believe in people. I believe in people. I believe when they call us the better angels and all, I believe that we really want to live in a place that's safe, that where we value one another, where we can, engage in honest dialogue without it being acrimonious. I believe in people. So I think we have to create the world we want to live in, Seena, and not necessarily feed the algorithm beast, or this is what's working right now, because that's what we're going to tell you today. Jerry Springer made transition, and I'm giving him the thumbs down in hell or wherever he is, because he ushered in a wave, and he didn't create it, but he ushered in a wave of media that fed this very thing that we're talking about, this energy, this vibration, and this is a lower vibration. So I'm saying, what do you want? Do you want to be the protagonist? Do you want to be you say, Seena, they told you it won't work because nobody wants to see people agree. Well, let's do something different and show it. The TV shows we talked about, Quinta Brunson on Abbott Elementary. I'm sure CBS greenlit it, because why not? They had nothing to lose, right? They're number 3 or whatever they are. And putting this show out, they didn't know what it was going to do, but it was during a time where let's see, right? I was just telling someone, Fox and all of these networks built off of Black energy, whether we're talking about living single, living color, girlfriends. They built their audience so they can go get advertising. And then as soon as they had the numbers, they dropped the shows.
Yep.
So we've proven the model time and time again that we can come in and do our content at the level that we want to and be successful. Now, the question is, are we going to do like the NBA and the NFL players and take our agency, demand certain things, or just be happy to take a check from somebody? That's going to be the challenge. I'm gonna step out and say, no, I'm not taking checks. I'm checkmating, mother freakers. I'm not taking checks. We're gonna ride this till the wheels fall off, because I'm a lot like Seena. I'm risk averse in the sense I'm not jumping out of no damn planes, but I also run headlong into what you say is dangerous, because I want to break this thing and see what happens.
I agree. There's no better feeling than when you're able to do that.
Yes. I love you.
Thank you. This is great.
I appreciate you giving me more than the 15 minutes that I told you we were going
to. It's all good. That was fun.
Yeah. All right. I'll see some of y'all tomorrow on SiriusXM Urban View channel 126. For those of you who don't know what a radio show is, SiriusXM, download the app. Look for the Karen Hunter Show. Make it your favorite. Urban View is where we are, channel 126. For the rest of you Nubians, I'll see y'all on Saturday in class with Dr. Carr. Some of you will see it here on YouTube as well. And the rest of you, I'll see in them Nubian streets. I love you. That's an action word. See y'all tomorrow. God bless.